Hey guys, it's me again, Orcs Layer What Ifs. Where I last left off, let's see, check. This will be the start of a new What If. Again, this is What If Bell. Yes, I'm bringing in our What If Bell. I've had this on my mind for a while. What if Bell was a guardian? Yep, same destiny, same all that. So, I'll give you a rundown on what he'll be. He'll be a hunter, because of course he would. I don't really see him as a titan or a warlock. He's not, from what I know, he really is more or less, he goes with whatever, like the flow, I would call it. He's very quick and agile and knows, well, how to use knives and such. Is how I would describe him as. Plus, he's also very nimble and sneaky, just like a hunter is. So here's where all our started off. As a little ghost is flying through the air, she's just like, man, she's flying around thinking, it's been a while since some of the other ghosts have found their guardians. Heck, some of them are even found theirs in like a matter of hours. Wonder when I'll find mine. As she's floating around, just looking, like scanning around, and never finds anything. As eventually she comes across something. As she like saw people moving around, she's like, people. As she's floating by, she eventually comes across this site. As when she goes over and looks at him, she's like, well, what do we have here? As we skip before, a great while before, this person was running through the forest, his white hair. He's running and running, just trying to keep up or running away from whatever's chasing him. Doesn't know what's happening. Then all of a sudden he went black. And now he's dead. Yes, that makes sense. Okay, I'll give you guys a rundown. The Great Collapse was caused by the black ships, which, from what I've heard, the theories say that what they did is they use some form of gravity altering technology, not technology, but they use their powers, their paracausal powers, which basically means they defy any and all science and logic. That's why the Hive are as powerful as they are. They have paracausal power. And that's why Guardians are the only thing that can kill a Hive, because they possess enough paracausal power to kill them permanently. If you give a gun to a normal person and tell them to kill a Hive, or let's just say orcs or something, if they were able to do it, they probably wouldn't kill him. They just destroy his physical body for a short while. But while, a guardian, if they do it, they will die, because that's just how their power works. No reason or logic, it just is. But aside from that, the person was running and trying to outrun something, and then he died. Just like that. They don't know what from. Could have been debris, could have been anything. But then, several centuries later, or maybe like 100 years later, the little ghost revives him. As he wakes up, as he's like, where the hell am I? Is the first thing that pops into this person's head. So he's looking around, he's like, house, I think. As he's staring around, he's like, as there's a voice behind him, like, hello there, quickly, hello. He's like, oh, wait, what are you? As he like took a couple of steps back and fell over, he's like, "Ow, damn it!" And she's like, "It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's hello. I'm well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't really have a name, but that's aside the point. Well, you were dead, and now you're alive. Congratulations. You are my new guardian, or Risen, as they were put. I believe they're also known as the Risen, or the Arisen, one of those." As he's like, what? She's like, well, that's aside from the point. But right now we need to go someplace. He's like, where are we going? She's like, well, at this moment, then they hear a like a sound of a drop ship. As she's like, "Fallen, quickly, hide!" As he's like, alright, as he goes over and dives under the cover and like into a building. As he ran through a door and like jumped over behind a counter. He's like, oh, alright, what are you? She's like, I'm a ghost. A ghost? Yes. We are made by the Traveler and are used to revive guardians, as some would call us, or Arisen, whichever you prefer. He's like, okay. Why me? She's like, I don't know. I just know it was you. He's like, what? You gotta explain more clearly. As then they hear bang, bang. As it's like, wait, what's that? He's like, survivors. He's like, well, what do we do? She's like, I don't know. Like, I'll follow your lead, but, as as he's just thinking, he's like, oh, alright. As he looks around and finds a knife, he's like, it ain't very sharp, but it'll do. As it's more like a combat knife. As he hears, like, more loud bangs, he's like, alright, do you have any suggestions? She's like, well, let me fly up a little bit. They can't really see me. As she flew up, she's like, alright, they're there, the family. Alright, listen. Go through this building, and you should appear behind the couple of them. Wasn't really an entire group that landed, just more or less 3 people, and the ship's gone now. It's like probably a scavenger party. He's like, alright. As there was sounds of like electricity, you could call it, being sent out, and then an explosion. As they heard the screams of a couple of what they would classify as younger people, as well as an adult female. As the father's like, oh, stand back, you sons of bitches, as he fires off more shots. As Deku's like, oh, god damn it. It's like, God. He's like, I don't know. As he looks over, he's like, alright, if I rush, I can get after that one and those 2. Alright, you ready? She's like, yeah. He's like, can you fly up and distract them? He's like, yeah, you got it. As she flew up and she like screamed, hello down there, what are you guys doing? As for a second, there 3 creatures, which you know are as fallen, are distracted. They're looking up to sorry, getting tongue-tied. As they look up and they see this ghost, as one dreg tries to take a shot at it, when one of the dregs are aiming up, the one farthest away is tackled and stabbed quietly. As the person picks up the shock pistol and shoots the 2 that are standing there. As he shoots them dead, he looks over and says, hey, you guys alright? As there's 2 children. There's 2 children and an adult, like an older looking man. As he's like, yeah, you did good. What's your name? He's like, I don't have a name. I just woke up. As it's like, oh, well, well, that's odd, young man. Listen, before anything, as I'll say that, as you guys, the ghost didn't shout anything. She just flew over and distracted them. The old man didn't know why, and he was about to take a shot at the drag in the back before he saw that Bell. Yeah, he's Bell. You guys know this. Bell tackled him. As he saw him stab him and then take care of the other two fallen, he's like, it ain't nothing. As then Hestia was coming over to take care of him, as Bell's like, hey, let's get on. As then there's a whoop, and then a shot rang out as Bell, the side of Bell's forehead was shot completely open as he falls unconscious, dead. As the two children scream, the fallen lets out a war cry as he takes more shots at the old man. Rushing forward with a couple more dregs, Hestia, flies over and, goes invisible for a split second. As you guys know, it's Hestia. Actually, no. It's not Hestia. As she flies over and singing, she's like, oh, damn it, gotta get you awake somehow. As she's looking around, she's like, wait a second, I'm a ghost. As the fallen rush past them, moving on the position of the people even more, she does a quick revive as he's like, she's like, quickly now, get rid of the other two. As Bell grabs the shock pistol that was lying next to him, as he lets off another 2 shots, as it runs out of ammo. As the last fallen vandal, as it looks behind him, as it's about to take a shot at him, Bell looks around and just throws it as it just hits the vandal in the head. He charges forward and sort of tackles it into the wall. As he sort of headbutts it, he's like, ow, that hurt. As then the guy's like, take a step back. As Bell jumps backwards, as then a loud bang round sounds out again. As Bell says, thanks, he's like, so, you're one of those guardian folks they talk about. He's like, apparently. So, any news? As he's like, well, like I told you, I just woke up. He's like, you two have names? He's like, no. As it's like, well, he doesn't ask if the two of them have names. He asks what are their names, and they just reply they don't. And at this point, they've been walking for a little bit, as Bell had taken some of the weapons off the dregs and such. Like, he took their shock pistols and such, since, no other weapon. And maybe he took a Vandal wire rifle. As he's looking at this, he's like, the fuck? As he's like, this gun's weird. As he, picks up and aims, looks through the scopes, he's like, this 2 sets of scopes is just weird. Looking through them, he says, you think I can get it? As he, how do I test? As he looked around and got scrounged a clip or 2 from the Vandals, and got a few little things of ammo from the drag, so he's like, And he found a little thing on one of the dregs. As he shook it around, as it made a little ding, little rings. As the older man was like, that's a bell. Bell's like, bell? Yeah. I like the sound of that. What do you think? He's like, it sounds very nice, and it kind of actually, it'd be nice to call you something aside from Guardian. It's like, well, call me Bell. He's like, alright, look, kid. As he's like, yeah. And what about you? You got a name? She's like, no. He's like, is there anything you'd like? She's like, I remember seeing these flowers around here. As she describes them, and he's like, oh, those are lilies. As I believe they're in Russia. I don't know the plants in Russia. Let's just say there were some lilies. She's like, yeah, those are lilies. Lily. That's a good name. As yes, it's Lily, I believe is her name, right? Give me a second. No is the answer from the looks of it. I looked it up. Maybe they have some there, maybe they don't. I don't know. But yes, lilies. So, as they have their names underway, Bell inquires what their names are. And he's like, oh, well, kid, they just call me Gramps. And these 2 little rascals, well, it's a complicated story. Really haven't told me their names yet, just sort of found them. Parents were taken out by Fallen. It's a shame, really. Those alien bastards have taken a lot from us. So I've just sort of been watching over them, making sure they, stayed alive. It's like, with you here, it actually should be a big help. He's like, where are we going? He's like, I don't really know. I'll tell you the truth. Like, I was thinking of heading towards Traveler, but every time we try to make it to that direction, we get attacked by every frickin' thing in this world. We got the Iron Lords and the Warlords tearing out each other's throats over and over again. We got the Fallen running around like crazy, hyped up druggies. It's just a real mess right now. Maybe we'll find a couple of villages along the outskirts of all this violence and mayhem. But until then, we'll do our best to, live. As it's like, okay. So, can you tell me a bit more about Traveler and where we are? He's like, well, kid, you're living on Earth. More specifically, Russia. And it's where the Traveler went, if I believe. If I believe so, it's where the Traveler's in Russia. Somewhere close to that area. But as it's going on, it's like, so that's what happened. Yep. So what are we doing now? He's like, more or less just waiting around for, things to get done. We're gonna go check out and see one of these villages I've heard about from traveling merchants and whatnot. See if they're still safe. Your help would probably be appreciated, but try to keep that light stuff to yourself. Quite a few people are not as well open to the Risen or Guardians, whichever you prefer. But if you let people find out who you are and let them get to know you, I'm sure they'd be willing to let you stay. He's like, thank you, Gramps. Like, it's no problem, Belle. It's just like, you know what? You get some shut-eye. I'll take first watch. As Belle's like, nah, it's okay, sir. I can watch over you guys more. If I fall asleep, Lily, can you do some? If I try to start to fall asleep, can you take watch, Lily? She's like, yeah, it's no problem, Belle. It'd be good to help you. After all, I'm your ghost. Sorry. After all, I'm your ghost. He's like, yeah, we'll see about that. As he sort of just starts watching the campfire and such. After they start hearing sticks tracking, Belle pretty much put the fire out instantly and woke the three of them up. He's like, alright, you three, get up. As it's like, something wrong, Belle? He's like, heard sticks snapping and I heard a bit of commotion. You guys sit tight. I'll go see what's going on. As Belle left the wire rifle, he's like, keep a hold of this. If it comes down to it, you should be able to use it better than that hand cannon, as you call it. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'll be back. Lily, stay here. It's like, are you insane? If you die, he's like, I won't die. I'll do my best to stay quiet and stick to shadows. As he walked carefully, almost as if it was natural for him to be stealth, as he very easily avoided tree branches and such, and sticks on the ground that would cause a snap or a commotion. He slowly but surely followed the voices of people going like, ha, and then he'd like hear laughing, talking, and little bits of whispers. Eventually came across someone as it's like, yeah, Catan and all of them are fighting the Iron Lords, and God knows who else. Have you heard about that one, what was his name? Saladin or something? Yeah, apparently he's been tearing up, falling all over that front. He's like, yeah. What about Lady Ephrodite? As they're like, oh, please, everybody knows her. She's confronted Catan more times than I can probably count. So, yeah, they have a storied history, don't they? What about Fellwinter? Fellwinter, well, everybody knows he used to be a warlord. Then he joined up with the Iron Lords for some reason. They're like, yeah, do you think if he stayed with the warlords, anything would have changed? He's like, yeah, no. There'd probably all be still some people killing here and there, but ultimately the Iron Lords are gonna win. They have more people behind them, and more, well, I would say they have the side of justice on their side, but that sounds dumb. It's like, you're damn straight it does. And he's like, so who are we gonna support, boss? As he looks over to like a very tough looking man, he's like, don't know yet. Depends on which side's willing to pay more. The Iron Lords sure have safety and such, and better territory that they have control of. But Catan and all those guys are the ones who actually give people who are willing to take what they want. Just as long as we don't screw him over, he'll let us do whatever we want. He's like, yeah, boss, but shouldn't we be helping those who wish to unite humanity instead of be tyrants over it? It's like, yeah, there's always going to be tyrants, kid. It's just a matter of which. It's just a matter of which. Either the ones who are going to protect us from everything in this damn world, or the ones who are going to send us out to fight everything in the damn world for their selfish reasons. Either way, we either die, or we grow weak and die even faster. At least with the Warlords, we're going to get better food and such. So the Iron Lords want to spread everything out, instead of letting the better ones get better food. It's like, got a point there, boss. Again, I suggest that after Bell gets done listening to these guys, he's like, alright, time to take a step back. As he's very quiet, like very careful to get back to camp, he's like, alright, so, those are guys, they're apparently looking for some people to fight for. The Iron Lords and the Warlords, they named off a few people, I guess. That's all, I'll give you a rundown. Lord Saladin is an Iron Lord that does the Iron Banner. He was one of the last Iron Lords, along with Ephrodite, who survived. Yeah. If I throw a picture up, you guys will see. And then, Fellwinter. He's the one who the shotgun's named after. Fellwinter's line, and damn that thing to hell. I frickin' hate it with a fiery passion beyond anything else. Oh, aside from that, though, Bell, Lily, and all of them retreat carefully to make sure they aren't, nothing takes notice of them. Falling back successfully. With this, happening, Bell and all of them, travel along, all nice and peaceful, for weeks on end, as Bell actually learns the name of the two children, Seer and Ween. As Bell thinks those are quite unique names, as it's like, yeah, weird names, but unique. So, what are we gonna do? He's like, well, it's up to you, Bell. He's like, why is it up to me? You're the oldest person here. As he's like, I guess you're right. He's like, you learn how to handle those guns any better? He's like, your aim's still kind of bad from what I was looking at, Bell. He's like, yeah, sorry. We haven't had much time to practice with how much we're constantly moving. As Grandpa, or Gramps as I'll be referring to him from now on, just goes like, alright, know what, kid? Come over here. As Bell's like, what? As he gets Bell in a stance, as they really haven't had to fight anything. They've been, making sure to have fighting done to at minimum. Barely engaging in it at all. As Bell has learned some of his abilities, you could call it, his grenade and such that recharges over time. as he hasn't learned how to do any of his supers yet. So, with all that, Belle's like, so I take up a stance like this and this, as it's like, yep, make sure you keep your feet firmly planted. And shoot, as he shoots the gun, as he's like, it's got a little bit of kick to it, as he's like, yep, that's how I like my guns. If it doesn't have any form of kick, it ain't gonna do anything to your enemies. As where Belle shot, punched a hole through a tree, or took a chunk out of a tree. As he's like, I guess I was wrong. Your guardian powers must do something to guns, I guess. As he's like, sorry. It's like, nothing to apologize for, kid. As Belle goes to attempt to give him, Belle gives him the weapon back. He's like, yeah, maybe I'll let you have this one day, kid, when I die. As Belle's like, yeah, right. He's like, come on, we should probably get worrying. Ween and Seer will probably be scared. As Belle and Gramps are like sitting by the fire one night, he's like, so how long has it been since the collapse, as you called it? It's like, it's been a while, kid. Not long enough, too long for me to remember anything about it. It's like, so you want to? It's been like close to a few months at this point. As Belle thinks, maybe. Yes, Samson, you're tired. As Belle questions Gramps about it, he's like, should we really just be sitting around waiting for stuff to happen? As Gramps says, the world moves at its own pace, kid. It's up to you if you want to try to keep ahead of it. As it's like, or do you want to lag behind it a little bit just to see how events will turn out? He's like, I guess you have a point. He's like, don't listen to this old geezer. Like, I'll say what I want to say and believe, but until then, don't listen to me. As Belle and Gramps are looking at the fire, Seer starts freaking out like having a bad dream. As Gramps is like, she's been having those constantly. As he gets up to go and try to comfort her, she like wakes up, like runs over and rolls over to where Belle is. As Seer like clutches tight to Belle, as Gramps was over on the other side and Seer was closer to Belle. As she latches onto him, Deku's like, hey. Yeah, I said Belle, right? If I said Deku, I'm sorry. Belle's like, it's okay, just calm down, Seer. It's okay. No one's here to hurt you. No one's gonna hurt you while I'm here, alright? As she's like, looks up at him, she's like, thanks. She like sort of looks down and just hugs him tighter. He's like, you know any songs, old man? As he says, none that you would like. He's like, come on, there's gotta be a few. He's like, give me a second. Damn it, how did that one go? Alright. The logman once went to the woods to chop down some trees. Finding fallen trees was his job. He brought back the trees, and, how did that song go? Should really ask me to sing songs, kid. I do terrible at them. Alright, the fisherman went to the creek. He had no poles, so he made a spear from sticks and stones. That wasn't one. The fisherman met the woodsman, who let him borrow some sticks. He met a man with a knife, sharpened the wooden sticks with said knife. The fisherman then sat at the creek, caught some fish ready and tasty to eat. So he made a fire pit, then invited the woodsmen and what was his name again? He made the fire, made the fish, salted them even, brought fresh sticks, is what the woodsman said to rekindle. The man with the stones or knife then brought the liquor. As Bell says, liquor. He's like, oh, it's a alcohol. They feasted into the night, drinking and singing. When the day comes, they'll do it all again, 'cause they are the very best of friends. It's like, that's a weird song. He's like, hey, I didn't write the thing. I was just told it. It's like, whatever you say, man. I mean, Gramps. Like, yeah. Anyways, go to bed, Belle. As it's like, sure thing, Gramps. As he rests his head. So we cut another 6 months. Seer has actually grown quite attached to Belle, along with Ween. As they like to play with Lily, as she floats around and talks to him and tells him little funny jokes. As Seer actually looks up at Belle sometimes, as she actually looks up at him, as he bends down, she puts like a little flower in his hair. He's like, thank you, Seer. That was very nice of you. She just gives him a smile, as he's like, these kids are kind of cute. As Gramps is like, I guess you're starting to like you again more and more. It's like, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? She's like, you're like a knight in shining armor coming to save the day. Think about it. I wouldn't have been able to defeat all those fallen on my own. At least not easily. Those girls would have lost another poor soul to those creatures. It's like, yeah. As they see a village, as he's like, alright, remember, keep your light a secret. As Belle talked with Lily, saying, alright, go time. As they she sort of disappeared and hid in his clothing, you call it, if she had to. As they come across the village, like, greetings. As the men come out with their arms like, hey, we're not mean no harm. Just wanted to introduce ourselves. I'm Gramps, this is Belle. These two little ones are Lily and Seer. As it's like, why'd you come here? He's like, our group was destroyed by the Iron Lords and the Warlords fighting. After that, well, you know how it ends. We get weakened, fall and roll in. He's like, it's one story that many have known around here. As long as we'll let you stay the night for a couple of nights, and if you want to stay around, you best be willing to work. As it's like, it's only natural. It's the only right way to do things. Good then. Well, your grandson and your grandchildren can sleep in one of the stables. It's like, you old timer. Well, it looks like you might not actually be that old. He's like, thanks for the compliment. This is like, well, you can sleep in the shed then. He's like, oh, thanks. As Belle tells Seer and Ween that they can't tell anybody what he is because it's their little secret. And she's like, alright, Belle, won't tell anybody. It's just like, good. Now, how about I find some dinner for all of us? As it's like, yay! As Belle's like, gotta keep those two safe. And the rest of this town safe as well. And we'll skip a few, over a month or two later. And sorry with all the time skips around, but it has to be done. For story's sake, there isn't a lot of filler you can throw in there. That I could think of at least. But as Belle works continuously, constantly, ensuring that whatever they have to do he does it by himself sometimes. As he like told about how like a group of rougher types are trying like moved in like set up camps a ways away. As Bell says, do you think they're gonna be trouble? Like, if they are, let's just hope they don't have a warlord with them. Some of them been ousted by the Iron Lords. If they don't follow the creed, the Iron Creed as they put it, they typically get killed. But they're being led by a warlord. Nobody in this town can stop them. Hell, might as well just give up now if they do. He's like, Bell's like, is that really true, Gramps? Says it's like, there have been a few towns that have been burned to cinders because of some warlord assholes. So yeah. Anyways, let's get back to farming. As they do have crops in this, as Belle and them like eventually have a nice little house that Airy and not Airy, sorry, that Ween. I believe it's sorry, I had to stop recording that night. Like yesterday, I was really tired. I felt like I was my words were starting to slur somewhat. Like I was just so tired. I'm really tired. But it was Seer and Ween that I had Belle protecting, I believe. Right? Yep, Seer and Ween. Sorry. But as Deku and all of them are waiting around, eventually there does come strolling into town the group of people. And they thought it was just a small group, like 5-10 people at most. They got over 30 people with guns, rifles, ammo, all that sort of stuff. There's a figure at the front that says, "Listen, all of you, you either fall in line or you're gonna get shot. One way or another." As it's like, hey man, this doesn't have to be so violent. He's like, what did I say? Fall in line or die. What's it gonna be? As it's like, come on, isn't there some agreement we can come to? As the Iron Lord just simply grabs a rifle and just lights a guy up. As Belle thinks, oh, I cannot let this pass. As Lily's like, alright Deku, not Deku, alright Belle, what are we gonna do? As he says, alright, Gramps, can I borrow something of yours? It's like, what Belle? He's like, walks over and grabs his hand cannon. He's like, I'll take good care of it. As Belle comes outside the door, he's like, cracks his neck. He's like, let's get this over with. As it's like, you got an entire day to decide, alright? As Belle moved to the front where the village elder, you could call him, was at, and spoke to Deku. Not Deku, sorry. Spoke to Belle, saying, yeah, this ain't gonna be good. If we try to run, the Warlord would just hunt us down. If we try to defend, the Warlord's gonna butcher us. Nothing much we can do there. As he's talking with some of the men who are considered leaders, you could call it, leaders of the little village. As late at night, Belle wanders over and says, hey. As he jumps down, as he's like, what are you doing here, Belle? As Belle just makes a sound for him to be quiet. As he says, come on, Lily. As Lily shows up, as he's like, oh, it's Guardian. It's like, wait, you're a Guardian? He's like, yeah. Anyways, I could take care of the Warlord if you want. I just want to let you guys know you should probably be ready to run when it happens. If I attack him and things go south, he's probably going to suspect I came after you guys sent me after him. So, if you guys did what you need to do, run. Alright? As it's like, come on, it can't be simple. It's like, it isn't. But he'll probably have a group of people watching when that makes sense. As it's like, I suspected the same thing. What do you got, Belle? He's like, strolling their camp? Kill him. It's the best choice we got, really. And would this be a kill? Or if it has to be done. I'll try to convince him otherwise. This is like, all right, Bell, we'll follow your lead. As they got everyone ready the next day, Bell like went early in the morning where like a lot of the people around there was still asleep. As Bell approached the camp, he killed the 2 sentries that were out front. He's like, sorry, but it's gotta be done. As Bell is still, he isn't a good fighter, you could call him, like, whatsoever. He's still young and naive, you could call him. But he is fast and agile. So that's what he has going for him. So he's like, alright, let's take a look. Looking around, he's like, alright, so that's... As he sees the warlord say, alright, folks, we gave him a day, now get moving! As Bell says, shit. As he's like, Lily, got any suggestions? He's like, yeah. Go from the back. From what I hear, a lot of warlords don't fight from the front. See, they send scores of people until they actually come. It's like, alright. Should be simple enough. As he jumps down, rolling down like the little trees and such, he makes a quiet approach. As around that, the warlord's like, alright people, let's get this over with. As he gives the signal for them to start moving in, they hear a shot ring out as the warlord feels it in his back. He's like, son of a... As he turns around and tries to shoot at whatever shot him with an SMG. Bell jumping in the air as he does his double jump and lets off 2 more shots as it's like, ugh, damn Iron Lords. As he jumps up himself and starts firing again. Bell's like, come on, you idiot. He's like, not come on, you idiot. He sort of just like dodges after, the Iron Lord shoots again. It's like, come on, kids. Come on, Iron Lord. Stay down. Fight me man to man. As Bell throws a grenade, causing it to blow up right in the Iron Lord's face, he's like, oh, damn it. As he keeps on trying to move closer and closer, but Bell uses the agility to his advantage. As eventually Bell, sort of doesn't have time to reload, so he has to duck beneath a punch. As he takes a knife and slices it across the Iron Lord's chest, as he's like, ugh. As he goes to start swinging more wildly, Bell's like, he's kind of slow. As he then aims for underneath his armpit, as he makes a clean cut, he's like, ow! As he's like, alright, let's see how you like this. As he charges up as he smashes into the ground, causing a bunch of electricity to spray out. Bell's like, oh shoot, as he gets flung away. Bell's like, what was that? He's like, he used his super, as we called it. It's an ability where you charge you have stored up a bunch of light energy and unleash it in a powerful attack. He's like, alright, can we do that? He's like, if you focus hard enough. He's like, you haven't really used a lot of your light ability, so maybe you already have it. As he's like, alright. No, this won't be easy, will it? She's like, no. So, Bell focuses, lets it ring out as he's like... As he summons the golden gun and lets out a single shot. As the Warlord just dissipates into the air. Actually lets off 2 shots. Because let's say the Warlord was using, Striker, and let's say he was using Juggernaut. So it took 2 shots to kill him. As in the ghost world around and says, wait, please, as then just gets shot out of the sky by Bell. Bell's like, oh, damn it. I didn't want to come to this, but there's no way he would have stopped. Well, no. Actually, he keeps the gun pointed at the ghost as he says, leave. Find someone else. As the ghost is like, you shot him. As he's like, find someone else, please. I don't want to have to kill you. As then the raiders start looking around as they're like, as some of them actually have smiles on their faces, like, you killed him. You actually killed him. It's like, wasn't that your boss? She's like, oh no. He's been jerking us around for ages. We didn't want to follow him. We came because he said if we didn't, they'd destroy our homes. And even then, we had to pay a massive amount of supplies to him. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. As they, like, all bow to Bell. As he's like, it was no problem. As he rubs the back of his neck, he's like, these guys really that desperate? Bell's thinking, I guess they were. As he's like, find someone else. As the ghost is like, alright. As he flies off. Bell's like, hopefully you won't meet that guy again on better terms. As everyone else in the village comes walking out saying, good job, Bell, and everything. As it's like, yeah. As Bell and like rubs back of his head again. And she's like, yeah. And this is only the story to come. I hope you guys will enjoy this. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this. And tell me what you think of this new series. Anyways, hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.